put cutters into the machine, if there isn't currently a collet in the machine, that's the nut that holds the collet in place. I want to make sure it's clean inside, not loaded up with sawdust. And the collets are in this drawer over here, 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch, and 1/8 inch collets. And they will snap in and out of this holder when there's no tool in them. So that's now snapped into the holder. If you look at the holder inside, let's see if you can get a close look at this. The retaining ring right here is offset a little bit. You'll notice that there's more clearance on the top, the way I'm holding it on the top, than there is on the bottom. So when you're putting a collet in it, you can just push it in. When you're taking it out, if you try and tip the collet out this way, it won't come out. But if you tip it that way with the opening at the top side, you're tipping the collet away from there, it'll come out really easily. If you're trying to get a collet out, make sure that the tool is not in there, because the collet needs to compress in order to snap in, which it can't do with the tool filling up the hole. And click it in place, snap it away from the enlarged opening here to get it out. So let's put a 1/2 inch tool in there. We've got the 1/2 inch collet in, it's clean. We can put that onto the spindle of the machine. And don't tighten it up all the way. Say we wanted to use this 1/2 inch high spiral carbide end mill. We want to make sure that we're putting it in the collet not so far that we get into the relieved area on the shank, but so that it's fully in there. So I usually just hold on to it by that relieved area and push it up against the collet and tighten it up by hand. Okay. Then there are 2 wrenches. The red handled one is the spanner for the nut. Okay. The other one, the 32 millimeter end of it, is for the flats on the spindle itself. And I like to put it together like this so that I can just squeeze that to do the final tightening. It's risky to be like this. If the wrench slips and you run your hands into the cutter, that cutter's really sharp. So be careful there and figure out a way to hold on to it. There are multiple places that you can put the spanner on the collet, and then figure out how you can flip the wrench around so that you can squeeze it together to tighten. That gets the tool in place. Taking it out is the opposite of that. So I'm going to put this around like this so that I can squeeze this to loosen it. And then we're going to unscrew that nut, and if it's been in for a while, it's liable to be stuck, so you'll have to actually use the wrench to unscrew it. And there's the tool coming back out of the collet. Again, if we wanted to change collet size, we'd have to take the tool out before we can get the collet out of the nut. There we go.